qualified for the World Cup. Go and compete.
Do we want to talk briefly about football and then talk about some more life stuff?
I think so. Yeah. There's actually been a lot of kind of talking points in football in the last 2 weeks since we recorded last.
Mm-hmm.
Not too dissimilar though from what we touched on last week. One of the big things that's continuing on is referees.
Mm-hmm.
Referees in England, are they good enough? I think the answer is no. Lee Mason, probably the biggest mistake of the season, that Brighton free kick. You guys saw that?
Did you?
Thoughts?
Well, as Dave said astutely in the group chat, he bottled it really. He second guessed himself at the worst possible time, and I mean, he must have wanted the earth to swallow him up. He was like, "Oh fuck, I've made a complete balls of this, but I'm going to have to try to play it off as well as I can to make myself look like I meant to do it." Yeah, he fucked up anyway.
Yeah, I actually kind of felt bad for him because he just looked so like uncomfortable and like he knew he had fucked up. I can't figure out what exactly went wrong because it looked like my first interpretation was he didn't mean to blow the whistle the first time, so he accidentally blew it or something, and then Dunk took the free kick and then he blew it to stop the play. But then Dunk said he asked, "Can I take it?" And he said yes. So he took it. So I have no idea. And then the VAR thing to disallow it, I also don't understand that. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's the one who's been fucking left in the shit, like, and had to. Didn't he? Yeah. He cried off the Liverpool game today, didn't he? He was meant to be fourth official, and he said he got an injury.
Yeah, that's
a bruised ego, I'd say.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
He was supposed to be fourth official. Yeah, he limped around like the last 15 minutes of the Brighton game, and you wonder how genuine that is.
Oh, you think he was faking an injury to get out of being in another game?
Yes.
Well, would you want to? Would you, after you made a balls of it? It's all over the newspapers. Would you want to be standing on that touchline tonight?
No, I wouldn't even want to be there if I was doing a good job. Like, being even a good ref, like I wouldn't want to do it.
Well, Lee Mason has made it tough for himself, though. It was only 2 weeks back that he stepped down from Premier League football, or had been demoted, or whichever way you want to say it, when he had sent off Bednarak as the VAR official. He was involved with the Souček red as well. He was the guy in the VAR box. He didn't give the penalty for Southampton when it like blatantly hit Cash's hand. So he's been involved in a lot of like incorrect decisions currently. It's probably best for him to pull a hammy and get out the limelight for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. But if this keeps happening, we're going to have no referees left. I mean, Mike Dean...
Mike Dean in every game.
Mike Dean, because he was getting death threats, pulled a sickie. Lee Mason now pulling a sickie. I don't know. It's like VAR is really putting them in the limelight and they can't hack it. I was wondering how much referees are paid. Do you think they're paid a lot? I reckon they are. I have no idea, but I reckon they are.
Didn't Clattenburg become like a high-paid referee by transferring to like the Saudi League or something?
Yeah. I wonder the difference between the pay though, because like those countries would offer ridiculous amounts, like going to the Chinese Super League rather than the Premier League or whatever. I don't know if they're on a lot of money, but I think they're on a by average wages, a handy amount for what they do.
I feel like we probably didn't give that enough stick. That is that not the dumbest way of chasing status you have ever seen from a sporting organization is paying big money for a fucking referee.
For the ref. Yeah.
It was true. Yeah. The Saudi league, like he can't ref every game.
Does he get his own
one game a
walkout?
weekend?
If special Clattenburg cam.
That would be cool. But that's one of the big talking points now. I watch beIN Sport, perhaps incorrectly, for like the Premier League games, and one of the points they were making is that there's so much mystery, or history is rewritten when we don't hear what goes on between the referee and upstairs, which is obviously the VAR studio or the screens or whatever. Like, it would make things a lot more transparent, and you'd have no arguments from fans, really, if we'd heard what Lee Mason and VAR had said in those brief moments with all of that nonsense going on. Because, like you said, Adrian, you don't know why VAR cancelled it. You don't know why the goal was disallowed. Who knows why he blew the whistle twice? There's all these little intricacies that if we heard that commentary between the two of them, perhaps those questions would be answered.
Yeah, I find now that more and more we're getting this information from like the commentators and things, which shouldn't be the case because we don't know where they're getting it.
Yeah, that does annoy me when they announce what the decision is before we see it on the field.
Yeah, or when they say, so we understand that this is what they're looking for, and you don't really know where they're getting that information. They could be fucking making that up. Like, if I was a commentator, I'd probably just give my best guess as well and say, well, my understanding is that they're looking for a handball here or an offside here or whatever. That does kind of rot me a little bit.
It does. I can't remember the tournament, but it was a couple of tournaments ago. And remember, there was only one English referee when there's usually, a couple, in comparison to like Italy and Germany, where there was a good few. And there was a bit of an uproar. People being like, how can there only be one English ref? But I think we're seeing it more and more each week why, these refs aren't big on European competitions and in the World Cup and stuff.
I wonder how is it as bad in other countries, like because we don't watch Bundesliga or Serie A or any of that, so we don't even see these controversial refereeing decisions, which they must have some of them. They must have some clowns, other than that really like square fella who's always the ref in the Champions League, Wolfgang something. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
no.
The German fella.
Square fella and Wolfgang is all you need to say to describe him.
Think of the Champions League referee that comes to mind when I say that.
But I never take notice of the Champions League referees. Like, I'm hardly even watching the match, to be honest.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocking. I've lost my attention span. Like, I'm on even watching a movie now. About 15 minutes in, I'm on my phone straight away. It's really
you
fucking
fucking
bad.
wanker.
Yeah, I know. I'm such a wanker.
I would hate that. Anyone watching a movie with me who goes on their phone after a few minutes, and then at the end of the movie they're like, I didn't really like that, or I couldn't follow it. I'd be like,
I think I really try not to be, but I'm very much like, oh shit, I missed that. What happened there?
oh, I was
that's
watching
the worst.
I was
That's
watching
me.
Goodfellas.
That's the worst.
Have you all seen Goodfellas?
I did, yeah.
I was watching it with someone, and I was watching it with a group of people anyway, but this person, like every 5 minutes, they were like, what just happened there? Who's that person? Who is that person again? Is Robert De Niro in this? And and we were watching it, and it was getting towards the end, and they were like, where's the little fella? And we're like, the little fella, like Joe Pesci? It's like, yeah. It's like, he was shot like 20 minutes ago. He was shot in the head 20 minutes ago. There was a big scene about it. She's like, what? Rewind. And we had to rewind and watch like the past 20 minutes again. Where
that's bad now.
Like, how did you even miss this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I won't say who it was.
But I don't know if it's like modern technology is just making me like that, or whether it's a lockdown thing, or whether it's just me having shitty attributes as a person. But I find like so much we're watching something and I'm like, Sonia, I know you're going to be really pissed off, but I have no idea who that person is. You know, she's like,
Don't
that's
don't
the
blame
fucking-
yourself. Don't blame
I don't
yourself.
know.
It's
I
Blame
think you need
Sonia.
to take it. I think you need to take a
It's-
little bit of responsibility. My mother is worse than me. My mother like will walk out of the room to make tea and come back in and be like, "What's going on?" So I know I get it from her, and I'm not as bad as her, but I do think there's a little bit of responsibility to be taken too.
Maybe, but like the apps are there to distract you and make sure you're glued to them. So like, there's that too.
Yeah, I mean, if I can catch a Pokemon and watch, Goodfellas at the same time, I'm probably gonna do both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Ultimate hunter-gatherer.
Well, okay, it's different if it's if someone goes on their phone when they're watching like a comedy, like an Adam Sandler movie. It's like whatever. This thing is not meant to be taken seriously anyway. You're just supposed to look at the screen and not think at all, and just watch Adam Sandler like fall down or something. So whatever. But then there'd be people who go on their phone watching like There Will Be Blood or something. Shout out to Dave who said he had to do that. He's watching There Will Be Blood with people, and they were on their phones after like 5 minutes, and they were like, "This is really boring." And fuck those people.
Yeah, fuck those people, and also fuck those people who play like a game on a console, and they will skip every cutscene and be like, "The story is just shit."
Yeah.
Fucking rats
I know.
me. Like, I couldn't get into the story. Well, you couldn't get into it because you fucking skipped every single cutscene.
Mhm.
Someone said that about Red Dead Redemption, which is probably one of the best games of all time. And they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I just thought the story was shit."
Oh
Like,
no.
you didn't even know your character's name. Like, so much.
I love that game for how it like slows you down on purpose. Like when you have to walk around the camp and you have to clean your fucking horse and shit. The way it
Yeah.
like really drove people mental with that. I love that it did that.
You have to like catch and cook all your food just
Yeah.
to keep you like your stamina or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was
Brilliant.
took a total diversion away from most big games, which are like action content, action
Mhm.
the whole time, and it's like just whoa, look at that, look at this, whoa, like fucking Call of Duty. What a load of shite the story in that game is. That's a game
Man.
I could skip the
Yeah.
cutscenes in that easily because
But
it's just every 5 seconds it's like the fucking Russians have launched a nuclear weapon at Washington again or something. Every 5 minutes, there must be nothing left at this point.
and they're historically short now as well. Every new game that comes out, it's like they trim half an hour off of it, so like you can have it done in no time at all. It's not really built for story modes anymore, is it?
Yeah.
It's all
And then-
multiplayer stuff.
But then they have Warzone, which is free and is probably better than any of the paid versions of the game. That's what I don't get. What were they thinking?
Well, I mean, why not do both and make money off everyone?
Yeah.
Lee Mason and Call of Duty equally bad.
Mm.
Bad.
Can I talk a little bit about Liverpool? I think I just need to talk about Liverpool and get this shit off my chest and see
Yeah,
what you guys
this is
think.
Go on.
This is a safe place for Liverpool fans. Yeah,
Because we're after watching Liverpool just win 2-0 against Sheffield. And that's all well and good, getting 3 points on the board, still in 6th position. But I have a lot of issues. Okay, where do I start? The main thing I want to say, I think, because I had a good bit of thought about this, is these injuries. Because every time we're on here, we say what's the issue with Liverpool, and I always say injuries. So the injuries are definitely the cause of the struggle, because if you look and say, look, we've lost even just the 5 defensive ones: Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, Fabinho, and Henderson. I was thinking about Man United and how they might struggle if they lost 5 of their defenders. So if you say something like Lindelof, Maguire, Bay, are we calling him Bay or Bailey? Bay, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So Lindelof, Maguire, Bay, Tuanzebe, and McTominay. How they'd struggle. And of course they would. Absolutely. And I maintain that they probably wouldn't be as high as 6th position if they had that. But would Man United in that situation then go and loan a 20-year-old defender from a foreign league and buy some unproven 25-year-old lad from the Championship? And I think that's my issue, because January was the time to fix it, and they didn't. And Liverpool are very good when things are going well to top up the squad with their Shaqiris and their Keitas and their Jotas, just to improve the squad and strengthen depth. But when things aren't going well, they tend to shit the bed. And I was thinking historically that has proven to be the case, because you look at when Alonso left and they bought in Aquilani at the time for like 20 million, which was an astonishing amount of money. And when Torres left and they brought in Andy Carroll for like 35 million, who had, I think, maybe half a good season. And when Suarez left and they got in Ricky Lambert and Balotelli, I mean, just historically speaking, Liverpool in the transfer market are not good when they're under pressure. And it's exactly what's happened again this season. And the whole thing has kind of been a little bit compounded by the fact that you've got these Champions League winners and these Premier League winners who are just gone missing. I mean, Firmino and Mane. Firmino actually, in quotation, scored today. It was actually an own goal. If you look at the goal, he was dragging it way wide, and it's come off a defender and gone in. So Mane can't fucking do anything, basically. Can't complete a pass. So Firmino and Mane are way out of there. Gini Wijnaldum, I'll say it now, right? This guy is meant to be like the fourth choice captain, and he's not doing nothing. I believe that he has been covered by a really good team of really good players around him for the last 3 years, and now he's being found out because Van Dijk, Henderson, all these kind of players are gone, and he's being found out. And Thiago, who, look, at least you can say he's adjusting to the Premier League, but he's meant to be one of the fucking greatest passers of the ball in Europe and relentlessly gives the ball away. So, sorry, but Liverpool need a bit of an overhaul, or else they're going to be stuck with all this dead wood in the summer. I kind of believe that now.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a tricky old season, though, to have the overhaul. The clubs are going to be, if they're selling, they're going to be selling with an extra 0 on the end, potentially. It's not a good position to be in. And I agree with you. I remember we spoke about it at the time, is that Liverpool could have sent a message in January and actually got some quality players, whether they were tied to only getting Ben Davis, who's not the Ben Davis that we thought he was. It's actually some other guy from Preston. And the lad from, Schalke, who are absolutely dreadful. So he's not exactly coming from a good place. He's coming from getting battered every game. But I think that not enough fingers are being pointed at Sadio Mane. I think he's sulking, and I don't like it.
Yeah, he doesn't look anywhere near the player he was. And I think when you look at the likes of Salah, at least when he gets the ball, he looks like he's going to make something happen. Sadio Mane looks like he thinks he can make something happen, and he's like nearly trying a bit too much. He's trying to, and he's fucking Sadio Mane is like, or was at least, one of the best like attacking players in the world at one point. Like, he could just ghost past players He was so quick and so clinical. And now he's picking the ball up at the halfway line and trying to turn and take a touch and take a touch and take a touch. It's like, just fucking give it, man. Like, just, I don't know. And I agree. I think there was a point today during the Sheffield game where Mo Salah was going towards goal and he shot, and Mane was there with his hands out going, why didn't you fucking pass it to me? But when you look at it, the pass wasn't really on. I didn't think the pass was really on anyway. I didn't think the shot was on either, but at least you could get a corner from that. Whereas the pass, like, it looked like the defender was blocking that pass. So I don't know.
Like, in the past before this, there's always been that comparison, hasn't there, between the Mane and Salah? Is like, are they buddies? Are they really jealous of each other? Are they that competitive? And it was always kind of like, give them the benefit of the doubt. They're both winners. I think this season, like, when you play bad, good attitudes come to the top, And I think that Salah is, I think Mane was the problem of the two of them. Yeah, he's always the one that throws his hands in the air, rolls his eyes. He had the strop earlier, didn't he, when he got subbed early. He wasn't he sulking as well? Was that the Palace game? Maybe, but yeah, it's not the characteristics you want to see from a championship team. So
yeah, I would also like to say, is that what I've noticed and what's I think been very evident, because people are saying who's to blame for this? Like, you can't blame injuries. Do you blame Klopp? And I think this Liverpool team, the successful Liverpool team, was a bunch of players that were bought very specifically to fulfill a role. And so you talk about centre backs that can be quick and defend one-on-one, full backs that are very attacking, midfielders that can protect that back two, if you want to call it that. Those players are now gone. Oh, and I should also say a goalkeeper that can play the ball a little bit. Those players are now out or gone or whatever. So you do have to blame Klopp a little bit for trying to force these players into a system that they're not able to do. Fucking Ben Davies is never going to be able to play the way Van Dijk does. He's just not. He can probably play in Preston in a defensive situation with a low block, not in a back two of him and Kabak. It's just not going to fucking work. And that is a little bit of a worry, is that Klopp seems to just be trying to force this system on players who just aren't able for it. With Fabinho and Henderson out, those were the two who were so underrated and so good at protecting that defensive line. And now you've got the likes of Wijnaldum and Thiago that just can't do it. That was my only other thought, is that
Klopp has run the players into the ground. He has to hold his hands up. He did it at Dortmund. Anytime something goes wrong for him, he can't cope. People say that the players these days at Liverpool, they can't handle it. They sulk or they throw their hands up in frustration. That's Klopp. It's Klopp coming through with the players, because he just can't handle it when things aren't going his way. And he'll leave to take over the German national team soon.
I don't know about that last part, but I think the point is
Adrian.
It's true though.
You
but
nearly had me.
There's a bit of half truths in there.
But it is like when you're saying about how the like Mane and that, throwing their hands up. We were only saying the last podcast how many arguments Klopp was having with managers. Like, you sure who's fucking squaring up to not Van Dijk, Sean Dyche. Not a good comparison, those
Van
two. But
Dyche.
squaring up to Van Dyche, yeah, Sean Van Dyche, Jean-Claude Van Damme's half brother. It's just a bad example. But look, I still stand by the points we made in the previous podcast, where I don't entirely blame Klopp. I really don't. I think so many factors have meant that Liverpool's title defence has been stretched. There's been a few errors along the way, of course. But I think it all just goes back to Pickford. Pickford is the reason that Liverpool are in this position.
Yeah, well, he's definitely part of the reason.
Who's to say? I mean, if Van Dijk was here, who's to say all this wouldn't be happening at all?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a bit like
Well, all I was going to say is, why hasn't Klopp found a solution? And I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think Man United would be in this situation, because they'd go and they'd buy a player for 30 million or 50 million or whatever, not fucking Kabak and Ben Davies.
Well, I think it seems appealing at the moment, that United approach, but in reality, Liverpool's approach of waiting to find who they think is the right player, and maybe even spending big on him like Van Dijk and Alisson, and then they have these stopgaps, Kabak and White, Davis, who they know they're not going to make it. They're not going to be first choice really, but they're just like stopgaps, and we'll wait and we'll bide our time and get the right player. Whereas United spunk all their money on useless shite.
I do agree with you to an extent, but I think in this crucial time, they should have done more than what they did. I think that's all.
In the long run, Liverpool will be okay.
Well, I believe that too.
They're not getting relegated. Right. Well, look, I wanted to just address something that might be an unpopular opinion. Might be. But we've referenced it for so many podcasts now, so it's nearly like continuity at this point. But it's about Chelsea, and since they've had their new manager, Tuchel. Is that the right way of pronouncing it? Firstly,
I think it's like Tuchel, maybe. Tuchel?
That guy. Anyway,
fuck it.
That dude, you know the one anyway, who has taken over the reins from Lampard, who had an absolute disastrous 6 weeks. That's no two ways about it. December and January for Lampard was rubbish, tragic. Did he deserve the sack? I don't think so. But probably on the face of things, yeah, it was really bad form. And for a big club like that, I think if Arsenal or United or City, if Pep Guardiola lost as many games as Lampard did, for example, I think his job would even be questioned. So I can't really defend that. But one thing I will say, and the game against Atletico has kind of scuppered my point a bit. But I see a lot of people saying that, like, since he's taken over, Chelsea are a brand new, magnificent, fantastic team. I don't agree in the slightest. I think the run of games has been piss easy. I think the only game that he's won that I don't think Lampard's teams would have is that Champions League game. Like 0-0 against Wolves. All right, first game. 2-0 against Burnley. 1-0 against Spurs. Spurs was 50-50. Sheffield United a win against Newcastle. Should beat those teams. Struggled to a draw against Chelsea. And, pretty drab against United. Yeah. And everyone could beat United.
Sorry, so you said they struggled to a draw against Chelsea.
Sorry, they struggled to a draw against Southampton.
Yeah.
the other week.
Yeah.
And then against United today. So I think obviously he's a better manager, better tactician, and is putting Chelsea in the right direction. But I think his test is coming forward now, and I think we'll really see, because he's got Liverpool, Everton, Leeds, and the Champions League coming up. So
well, Frank should have been arrested for what he did with this Chelsea team. It was fucking chronic crimes against football. Actually, because I dislike Chelsea, he should have been given a medal for what he did. Tuchel, though, this team, they're playing better, which is not saying much, but once they get to the final third, it's like they play great. They control the ball, very good, quick passing all the way up the field, retain possession, pressing, fine. They get into the final third and they have not got a clue what to do. Like, they look like a championship team in the final third, and they look like fucking prime Barcelona in the rest of the field. But I don't know whether it's tactics or the players, because can't really use players as an excuse when they spent 200 million on attackers or whatever it was. Fucking Havertz, Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech. Willian has more assists than Ziyech this season as well, by the way. Staggering statistic. Ziyech has been very disappointing of all of them. I mean, whatever about Havertz, he's. I don't think he was ever that great, but I thought Ziyech would be great for them, and he's been not so good, not good at all. Although I don't really care because I don't like Chelsea, so you know.
If I can make one last desperate attempt to back up Frank Lampard, I think what I would say is that the teams that he was playing, personnel-wise, are not a million miles away from the teams that Tuchel is playing. Things like playing Werner not as the 9 and not playing people like Alonso, who Tuchel doesn't seem to be playing too much either.
Well, he brought him back into the team. Like, he wasn't playing at all under Lampard.
That's true. Maybe that wasn't a great point, but I think like a lot of the stick Lampard got was about his team selections, which I think Tuchel is very similar. There's one or two changes, but very similar. But I think probably as a team, it's a lot easier to lose the confidence of the team if you're a young manager. And I think that's all that happened, is they lost a couple of games, and it's very difficult then for someone like Lampard to get the confidence back into the players, that they probably just lose the belief a lot quicker than, an older lad.
Yeah, it takes a special breed of manager to retain the faith and trust of the players when they're going through a rough patch, when the manager is in his first year of management.
Yeah. Because like when you have like a 56-year-old manager who's had a few clubs, you could kind of say, I've been here before. You just got to get through it. But it's true. He was an absolute novice, and like I have to say it for the record too. The point I made is in no defense of Frank Lampard. It's just that there's not much difference, and I see a lot of talk about how Chelsea are a wonderful new team, and I don't see it.
Can I take the opportunity to point out that Solskjaer and Bruno Fernandes both bottled it against the top 16?
You definitely can.
Is it about time?
It's not even. It's like not an argument now at the moment, because if Bruno had some great performances against a top team, then there could be a bit of back and forth. Like, well, what about this? I don't know. He could come good, but he's never performed well against a top team. He goes.
I actually thought he wasn't.
Invisible.
I thought he wasn't on the pitch today. I actually thought, because I didn't hear his name once for the first like half hour or something. And I kind of went, oh, he must be on the bench. Weird. And then I checked, and no, there he was.
It's 18. Amazing how he goes from 10 on 10 to 0 on 10 in these games.
Yeah. 100%.
I can't think of any other top player like him who does that.
But like when he's consistent, he's fantastically consistent. Like anytime United have a really good game, he's brilliant. But it's just whenever they play a decent side. I'm actually just flicking back now. Would you class Everton as like, a side that is hard to get assisting goals against?
Yeah, they're solid this year.
Because he does the business against them. But like I'm flicking back. I'm at like August 2020 at this point, and he hasn't bagged an assist or a goal against any of what we'd probably class in the bracket on big team, apart from Everton. I don't know. Is it the tactics? Is it the way that the team is set up? And I think maybe that is because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is absolutely playing it safe to keep his job. He 100%. Never loses against the top 4 teams because he just parks the bus and just gets a 0-0 and just
loses against
moves on.
16.
I think you're dead right. I think he sets up to not lose and goes, well, we've got Bruno, we've got Rashford, we've got whoever else up front, and they'll do some damage, but without any guidance. That's my thinking. Yeah.
It was very flat, and we've seen that a number of times. It was the same against City, same against Arsenal, not the win in Old Trafford for Arsenal, the reverse fixture.
The draw.
The draw, just very flat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing it ultra safe in these games, and I can't fault him for it. I mean, if you were just happy to keep the job, that's what he should do, and just keep the job. Don't go crazy ambitious trying to win the league. Just do enough to keep yourself comfortable, and
Keep
he's
that
happy out.
coin.
He's happy out. Like, give people a little bit of hope. Just enough to keep them hanging on. Trash, like hammer someone like West Brom or Leeds. Be like,
But
yeah.
we joke about it, but that's absolutely the state of play. Absolutely is the state of play. Because I remember like Mannix, when he was on, he talked about this too, is that they were losing those games in the past. So I guess from a United perspective now, it is an improvement. They aren't as leaky. They were getting embarrassed by teams, a few years back during the really rough patches. So I guess he's, got to give him credit for that, but it's really unambitious. Like, he is just being like, he's getting into the routine of bag Champions League, maybe do well in the Europa League or a League Cup, but that's it. We're not going to go outside that. Is that such a bad thing?
I've heard that story before, I think.
Yeah, me too.
But they're overperforming. You got to say that they are overperforming this year. Am I the only one who thinks so?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
I think 3 of the top 4 are overperforming. Leicester, West Ham, and United should not be where they are.
Honestly, even City are overperforming, really. To be on a 20-win streak is a complete anomaly.
Fair. And I think it does kind of show how bad the quality, maybe not the quality, but just how bad in terms of performances and form it's been in the Premier League this season is by City absolutely running away with it.
Actually, on the topic of United, one thing we didn't discuss when we were talking about referees is what Luke Shaw said after the game, where he was saying that he heard the ref saying to Harry Maguire that, oh, it's a penalty, but it's going to cause a lot of talk afterwards, so I can't give it. Or something like that. Like, he was saying that, I can't give the penalty because it's going to cause controversy or something. I bet this is going to have a lot of fallout to it, because he's after basically saying the referee is corrupt or whatever, or completely incompetent. That's like a different level of not doing your job compared to fucking up. Like, that'd be even worse than fucking up that free kick for Brighton, where he just had a rush of blood to the head and he fucked up in his job really badly. But if he was saying Stuart Atwell didn't give a penalty because said he wasn't going to give a penalty or something because it was going to cause a fuss, that is a huge thing to say about a ref. Like, the ref would be out of his job if that was verified. And if it's not verified, Luke Shaw should be in some serious shit for saying that if it doesn't, if you can't verify it. Yep,
that's when I heard that interview and when you saw that clip, first thing I thought too was that he's either got this dead right and this needs to be investigated, or he needs to be fined. Absolutely needs to be fined, because that's slander, isn't it? That would be slander towards the referee, basically saying that he's not doing his job, or that he's hiding, or being unfair. Not cool.
Yeah, I've definitely heard players say things that they get fined for that are less offensive than that. So I think he could be in trouble if the referee isn't in trouble. That is.
But do you genuinely believe that a referee would say that?
I don't. As soon as I heard it, I was like, that's not what happened.
Same. That's exactly what I thought too. I think because there are not cameras. Sorry, there's cameras always on the referees and the players, right? People can lip read. Number one, there's no fans in the stadium. The microphones, as we've seen, pick up so much stuff. You're telling me that a referee would risk their job and their career and say something as dumb as that? I can't see it.
Yeah, I think it's much more likely Shaw badly misheard what he thought he heard, or he's a little rat.
And we all know which one it is. Fat little rat.
Yep.
Little field mouse.
It was a poor game, though, I have to say. I always get a bit hyped when it's Chelsea United. For I don't know why. It always just feels like it could be a big fixture or like there's stuff on the line. Chelsea United always lets us down.
Yeah.
So I called it before the game. I said this is going to be a 0-0 snooze fest.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I know.
And
I
I think
can't believe the whole thing ridiculous.
I think you could say the same about anytime United play, a top team now too. Though it was the same before the City game, same for the Arsenal game. We were all saying the same thing. The Liverpool game, it was like there's not going to be many goals in this. It's not going to be exciting. And funnily enough, 4 games which should be on paper really exciting ended up being stalemates, 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
Shame. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's ruining football. Look, I'll say it again.
Say it again.
Rotten cunt.
He has killed football.
He has.
Yeah.
Last time it was the refs. Now it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They've won.
Yeah, no. Talk about Arsenal.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the dark horse for the Premier League title.
So dark. The darkest.
So dark.
Not even a horse.
yeah. Just some grey donkey walking down the street.
the grey donkey for the Premier League title. Arsenal had a tremendous win away to Leicester, where I don't know what it was, but watching this game, even when they went behind after like 5 minutes, I still felt we're going to win this game. And I haven't had that feeling at a big team. I just call Leicester a big team. A top team for the time being. Not a big team. A top team at the moment, Leicester. I was like, I think we're going to win. And they easily beat them. Really easily. Like, that was the most comfortable win of the season, I'd say, nearly. Arsenal with a B team, really. Saka and Aubameyang and Partey all on the bench. Leicester had nothing at all for them. And this is a lot like the first game with Leicester earlier in the season at the Emirates, where they did nothing for like 80 minutes. Vardy comes on, looping ball over the top, fucking goal. Grand. They win 1-0, which was sickening, absolutely sickening at the time. And this, to me, is like a sweet reverse of that, where we got him back for that one. Completely outplayed him. Great performances from Willian, from Pepe, David Luiz. Amazing. I was delighted with that result. I got to take what I can get this season because they're fucking mid-table. The league is gone. Like, any hope of anything in the league is gone. That's why it was so crucial, that game in the Europa League. They came back from the brink in that game against Benfica, where they should have hammered them too anyway. Benfica had nothing for them. But they got some jammy goals. I'm delighted that they're still in the Europa League, because that's the only thing we have going for us this season now. So they have to go balls out for that. But in the meantime, great performances from a bunch of heavily derided players and a manager who got it very right today. Bang on tactics, great football, easy win.
Can I just ask? Sorry, Kieran, but was the rotation? Was it just rotation, or what was the story behind that? Because I didn't really understand.
I'd say it's just rotation. Saka has played like every game for months. He's going to be burned out pretty bad. Smith Rowe, I was surprised he played Smith Rowe when he was rotating, and he actually got injured. He got injured and he was gone.
I was going to ask that, actually. Is that a big blow, do you think?
If this had happened before Odegaard came in, I would have been like, okay, fuck it. We're going to... it's going to be like battling for 15th here. Odegaard might fill the void, hopefully. Hopefully.
That was actually the last thing I was going to ask. Was how you feel he's been doing.
Some people have been going mad about him. I haven't been that impressed so far. He's had the odd good pass here and there, but he hasn't been to me, he hasn't set the world on fire, but he's only played like 2 games, really, 2 full games altogether. So, and one of them was a loss to City. So, can't really judge him on that. I thought he played well today when he came on. So, going forward, he's going to get more chances. We'll see. I'm optimistic anyway. Sitting in tent.
Well, look, there's been a good few results for Arsenal, and I think that since those dark times, a couple months back, the team is playing with a bit more passion and composure and understanding. So times are good for Arsenal, or at least it's turning in the right direction.
Yeah, well, it
Leicester,
got to the
though.
point. Yeah, fucking Leicester. Yeah, go on about Leicester. So sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say Leicester though. Like they were, riding high, easy draw in the Europa League, second or third in the league, and they've just ballsed it in like 2 games. Was it Slavia Prague?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So and then Arsenal, which to be fair, the way the season's gone, Leicester should have been, at least taking a point at home against this Arsenal team.
They've been so unlucky with injuries. They've had some really shitty injuries this
That
year,
is
though.
true. Yeah, they were missing Madison today, which is a big miss for them. So, and
they've had Vardy out for a good bit.
Barnes has gone now for a while.
Pereira, like they've had a lot missing as well.
The whole team looks knackered, completely shot. Like,
yeah, and you could kind of tell as well that the players that were injured have come back a bit too soon as well. Castanga, is he the wing back? He doesn't have the same step off the mark like he was having when he first joined the league, what we were seeing then. So Ainchu has had to gradually bring his fitness back. Johnny Evans, fair play to him, like absolute trooper, like shouldn't be playing Premier League football still, but he's still pulling his socks up and putting a shift in. So yeah, he's past it, right? Surely.
I wouldn't say that. There's a lot worse centre backs in the league.
Yeah, I feel like he's like 37, but he's probably not. Like he's probably like 32 or something.
I just checked on Google. He's actually 47. Like he's ancient.
That's a different Johnny Evans. That's like a Johnny Evans who died in like 1862 or something. Of course, this Johnny Evans.
This is the whole Ben Davis thing over again.
Yeah.
He's 33. Like he's not that fucking old. Like
he feels like he's old when he plays and when he moves. It's old.
Yeah. Like a fucking school bus.
But yeah, interesting game. I feel sorry. I said this earlier. I feel really bad for Harvey Barnes having the season of his career, literally his breakthrough. To solidify him as a class player. And now he's out for what seems like 6 weeks at least. He's going to probably miss the Euros.
I did see him put up a thing about the Euros saying like that's the aim, is to put yourself in contention. But Harvey Barnes was never going to be going to the Euros. Like, am I being a dick for saying that?
No, I don't think he would ever.
With the competition, he was a million miles away. Like he's hardly a guaranteed starter for Leicester. So he's hardly going to be going to the fucking Euros with England. And
I guess though, you aim to get into the pool of players for this one, and then you try and get to the World Cup. So it is a bit of a knockback for him. But he's only young. Hopefully he bounces back, because my God, does my fantasy team need him.
Yeah. I think we all need a Harvey Barnes in our life right now.
Yes, we do.
Or a Gareth Bale, if I may just point that one out. Shrewd bit of business.
Tanking for Bale worked.
Yeah. I was surprised no one else went in for him. But
yeah, it's just not worth it getting rid of any of my players for him, to be honest.
Right, okay. Yeah, I took a few risks with like Hudson-Odoi and Greenwood, so I have those kind of players I can get rid of. It's nice. It's nice to have that disposable income.
Those disposable players, yeah. Well, I might have to toss Harvey Barnes to the glue factory now this week to pick up someone else, but we'll see. Look, Adrian, you've hinted at it a couple of times already, right? So we're gonna include it. What did you cook this week?
Shit. What was the last thing I cooked?
After all that,
I could have prepared this. The last thing I cooked was bangers and mash, which is fucking crap.
I made that recently too, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
But before that,
build reliable.
turkey meatballs, like spaghetti and turkey meatballs. Yeah.
Nice.
Turkey meatballs are better than beef meatballs, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I like the meatballs with two meat though. You know, like pork and mince together makes it better. Same with a burger.
I think.
You know.
I made doner kebabs today.
Did you
really?
Yeah.
Did you whip out the whole fucking thing with a massive machete to cut it off and everything?
Yeah, I had a Turkish fella here slicing the meat. Yeah.
Two drunk lads just scrapping in your kitchen too. Yeah.
How did you do that?
Oh, just like fried some like diced lamb and then like cabbage and onion and spices and garlic and what else? Chili and yogurt and then like a wrap. We had pita bread, but it was gone moldy, so I had to just use wraps.
Did people like it? Did it go down well?
I think so.
Interesting. So just diced lamb.
I know it's not ideal, but it's as close as you can get, really. I'd say.
Yeah, you're not going to cook a whole fucking lamb on a spit and then slice off.
Yeah, because like they pack like loads of like fillets and breasts, or not breasts. Oh yeah, lambs have breasts, I guess. But they really pack it down. Those big old things that they're cutting are like hundreds of cuts, kind of compacted.
It's like nuggets, like chicken nuggets. It's just like really concentrated meat, like just packed together, isn't it?
Do lambs have breasts?
Yeah,
let's say breasts some more.
I assume lamb have breasts.
I'm just thinking because if a lamb had nipples, it'd be down lower, down by the legs. So, what would you call? Well, is it still the breasts if it doesn't have nipples? I mean, chicken don't have nipples, so.
No, it's the position of the meat, right? It's between the arms of the front legs.
But do lambs have udders? Are udders breasts?
We have to Google this. Can someone Google lamb breasts?
It's like with a
go on.
With a cow, you would never say a cow's breast.
No. But also a lamb is like a child version of a sheep. Oh.
I wonder, can you eat the udders of a cow? You know that the whole section that's just used for carrying milk. If like can you eat that? I presume you can.
You can eat anything, but whether it's
you can eat anything.
You can eat anything.
Yeah.
Imagine a world.
And bite it straight in the fucking titty.
I do have the answer for you though. Oh. So lamb breast is the same as lamb belly. It's an interesting cut, fatty and flavorful, very adaptable. It's also called lamb breast and resembles veal breast in many ways. So there you go.
You know, a lot of people, they don't like veal went out of fashion because people considered it cruel, like inhuman to have these like very young cows, just basically, you know, made them tender and kill them. And I'm like, if you have a problem with that, you're just a fucking hypocrite, because every other animal goes through the same shit as that. So I don't know what you think a veal is worse than torturing an animal for life. Oh, did you hear that? There was that controversy today about someone in like the horse riding association in Ireland or some shite, or some horse trainer who got in trouble because there was a picture of him sitting on a dead horse or something. And they're like, we're investigating this because this goes against like the values of horse racing. I'm like, that is exactly the values of horse riding. To fucking beat and torture and kill an animal until it won't go anymore, and do it while sitting on it for entertainment. That's exactly the values of horse riding.
Yeah,
So
they take a fool.
Yeah.
They take a fool and they kill him on the racetrack.
It's like if people say no, horse racing, it's not barbaric or anything. It's like the horses are treated so well, like they're like royalty. It's like, I don't know any royalty that are kicked and whipped every day of their lives and ridden into the fucking ground with someone on their back for a big crowd of people. So
Maybe Tsar Nicholas, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Do you know who Nicholas II of Russia was? I've just told you.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
mind, Adrian.
No. Yeah, I mean, have you ever heard of a Tsar, Adrian?
Nope.
Okay.
Am I? Should I have?
Kinda, yeah.
Not if you haven't. Look, actually, no, you should have. Yeah.
I should say, I've actually been told by people who have listened to the podcast that some of the stuff that we bring up on this is not really common knowledge, and that I'm not as stupid idiot for not knowing.
And,
Right.
and do those people have the same? Did they receive the same education as you did, Adrian?
Are
Are they
these
from
people
the same
from like
college?
foundation history or something?
Well, I didn't do history for the Leaving Cert.
Okay.
But
Me neither.
Yeah, they'd be educated people. They're not like
That sounds like
Do
it.
they have music degrees?
maybe, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not
yeah.
remedial people, like, you know. Anyway, like no one here has a fucking history degree. So
So what did they say? What did they say isn't common knowledge?
Oh, see, you're catching me off guard now.
So about Saxony. That's not even historical.
I'd have to check. It wasn't the Karl Marx thing. It was the thing after that.
So you said, did they say they knew who Karl Marx was, though?
I don't think I asked that. It was, what was
They were too embarrassed to say it.
No,
Convenient.
hang on. Two episodes ago, or two recordings ago, because last recording we had the US presidents. What was the one before that? What were we talking about before
Germanic languages, I think.
that? Yes.
Yeah.
Spot on, yeah.
They never heard of a Germanic language.
They said they had, but they said it wouldn't be common knowledge, and most people they know wouldn't know that.
Sure, how do they know that?
Sure.
They'd run ask everyone they know. I thought everyone knew that until I talked to you. Like the things you think you know.
But then I asked Sonia, and she hadn't a clue.
Okay.
You need to expand your circle, Adrian.
I can accept it because like I know Sonia, so I know she's not. I'm gonna say completely thick. I know Sonia, so
I'm not completely thick.
no, I'm talking about your other friends who I don't know, so I have no idea what they're like. So they could be any fucking Egypts, like. But I know Sonia is not a moron, so for her to not have heard of it is a bit more convincing.
Well, the people who have said it to me are not morons, and they actually knew it, but they were like, I'm just backing you up and saying that I thought you were caught on the hop. And even though I knew what it was, I don't think it's common knowledge. So, but then again,
Okay.
I could be making this up.
There's probably a lot. I mean, there's probably all kinds of shit you could ask me that should be common knowledge. And
That's it.
if he caught me on the hop, like I was doing a fucking a table quiz there last night, actually Friday night. We actually won a fucking coffee machine, which we bought the week before. So now we've got two of them. So we've got coffee machines upstairs and downstairs now.
Nice.
It's like being in a fucking penthouse suite or some shit. But if I got a question wrong, that it fucked me off so badly. It was a question about The Simpsons. I was flying through questions, like they were giving me all kinds of shit, and I was getting them all right. I was fucking delighted, and then they gave me this question, and I think, old people doing this quiz, they won't have a fucking clue here. So the question was, which Springfield resident in The Simpsons is commonly portrayed as the devil? And the options were like Chief Wiggum, Mr. Burns, Flanders, Moe, and like Reverend Lovejoy, Dr. Hibbert or something. Those were like the options.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said, Flanders, because he plays the devil in like one of those Halloween episodes.
Yeah.
And then when I saw Mr. Burns, I was like, oh no, the people asking this probably don't know much about The Simpsons, and they're just, Mr. Burns is the evil one, and I'm sure he's probably been the devil in a few episodes, and it says which one is commonly portrayed as the devil. I'm like, Mr. Burns is commonly portrayed as the devil, probably. So I said that and was wrong. It's Flanders.
Like commonly portrayed.
And we lost. We lost the whole quiz because of that. Like, we were in first place the whole time, and we bottled it on that question.
That's tricky. He's not commonly.
Exactly. That's
Halloween
what I fucking said. And there was another one. Oh my God. I'll give you this question. See what your answer is. It's like, where is the oldest ancient wonder of the world located? And the options were like China, Greece, Africa, Egypt.
What?
Yeah. Right. So when what would you say?
I'd say, can I just clarify that Egypt is in Africa? Yeah.
This is the fucking thing, right?
Yeah,
I read the question. And I instantly thought pyramids. Yeah. I said, where are they? Egypt. I read through the options. I saw Africa first, and I was like, Egypt is in Africa. It's Africa. I'm locking it in. I locked it in, and then I read the rest of the options and saw Egypt.
Fuck!
What kind of fucking question is this?
Man, you need to not do quizzes with whoever does that kind of questions, man.
No,
that's a trick.
If that was grand.
And you got a coffee machine out of it.
You came second, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good.
What was first prize?
It was like some sort of massive hamper shit.
I'd be raging.
Yeah, I know.
I'd kick up a fuss. Like, I'd be kicking up a fuss there. I'd find out who. I would find out who wrote the questions and write them a death threat.
Find yourself a good solicitor now.
No, the people who organise it is like my first cousin.
Look,
get the death threat ready. That's what I'm saying.
They
could just delete it.
Sue the shit out of them.
All right.
We're
Are we? Should we wrap things up?
Yeah,
I guess so. Unless no one wants to talk about the recent murder suicides in West Cork.
No, I think we're okay. Holy fuck, man!
We'll open the next podcast with that.
Yeah,
sure. No one tunes in.
Toyota Corolla van.
Jeez. Now a word from our sponsor.
Yeah.
Got a shit corner.
We leave it there, so?
Yeah. Perfect.
You've been listening to the Put 'em Under Pressure podcast. For more of our content, make sure that you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Facebook. Outro music.